Hey, how you doing? Welcome to episode 15 of what I'm still stubbornly calling a NOTCAST, because it's not a podcast, and I liked the word. Although there is a NOTCAST for Ripley's Believe It or Not, which is called Ripley's Believe It or Notcast, but I've decided that we're sufficiently different that you won't mind too much. Today, I'm going to be talking about U2's recently reissued 20th anniversary super mega ultra doo-doo box set version of their studio album All That You Can't Leave Behind, that was released 20 years ago, near enough this week, and about the recent reissue of it and what omissions and exceptions and other bits and bobs that are in there. Now, I'm not going to talk about the album itself in any great detail. The reason being is that I'm going to do some discussions around each U2 album in sequence, which may or may not, depending upon your tolerance levels, be extremely very boring indeed, or almost interesting. I'm not quite sure. But first and foremost, obviously, talking about the U2 reissue, All That You Can't Leave Behind. When this album came out in October 2000, it was everywhere, and it was very consciously a deliberate decision by the band to be accessible, to be popular, and to use their then strengths of songwriting and production to create mass-produced art that was easily accessible, that latched onto the mood of the public and was taken to their hearts. And part of that was linked to the Pop Mart album, the Pop Mart tour and the Pop Mart pop album, where the band had some, by their standards, commercial misfortunes, but were still selling over 20,000 tickets a night. Whereas obviously I'm lucky to have 20,000 views overall on everything I ever do. The box set has come out on the 20th anniversary of the release of the original album. So I'm going to talk about the original album to start off with. All That You Can't Leave Behind. Now, All That You Can't Leave Behind had a number of alternate names, styles, covers, and you can see from the interior of this book here that there were a lot of different types and styles and ideas that were floated for the album. It had names briefly like At Heart Zero, Sir Mere, 40, Grand Canal Docks, and I think at one point it was almost called Love and Peace as well. But the band decided to call it All That You Can't Leave Behind, and I think it represented almost an amalgam of the best of their work in the 80s and the best of their work in the 90s, in their opinion. To create a single entity that harnessed both the technological weird side and the straight, direct, man in a hat with a flag kind of anthemic writing. As an album, it's structured very similarly to another couple of bands which I can think of, which is that it's top loaded with all the great songs in the first half, and the songs that I think are less poppy, less immediate, are very clearly on side two. So it's the only U2 album I can think of that doesn't have an ebb and a flow. It just kind of starts off at its most U2-ish and becomes successfully less or successionally less U2-ish as it goes along, less direct, and basically the songs get worse with each song that occurs until it kind of peters out to a close. Give you a box set tour if that's okay. Had 4 minutes of me talking about it. So first things first, this is the CD edition. There is also a abusively priced 11 disc version that tells itself as being an 11 LP set. It isn't. It is, I think, 6 vinyl LPs plus 5 12-inch singles, which retails for about £200. The CD edition of this, and if you like me, what you're into is actually delivery of music as opposed to delivery of formatting and paper. If you're into that, the CD edition comes on 5 CDs and is considerably cheaper. It's less than half of the retail price of the vinyl edition. So first things first, the cover has been rethought. So instead of a picture of 4 millionaires standing at an airport at I think Paris Charles de Gaulle in 2000, it's been reshaped as the pictograph heart in a suitcase logo. Now the album had a really interesting set of visual design that went next to it. Key motifs and images were turned into the pictogram format. Pictograms are what we see in public road signs, things like the no crossing sign, or the established circle with the red bar around it, which indicates no entry, don't do it, it's very bad indeed. Or for example, the image of someone crossing the road, which is walk, don't walk, or a girl leading a small boy across the road, which indicates that children are crossing. So it's trying to transcend language and individual languages into something that is universal and understood by all, very simply and straightforwardly. It's a very interesting visual design. I much prefer this design to the one that's actually on the record, but as I've said before, I don't get to make those decisions. I only get to do YouTube videos about them. So first things first, box set, pretty hefty, looks pretty impressive there. It probably a couple of kilograms, maybe more. Take the 12-inch box out and you have the inner box. Now what I should have done before I did this was I should have watched the Edges unboxing video of this set and then done some kind of parody of that. Maybe put on a hat, took my glasses off. I could shave the beard so that it looks a bit more like his. Who knows? Maybe I shouldn't really. I think what's the point of being the best Edge impersonator I can be when I can be the best Mark that I can be? And that's pretty much it. So the box is pretty hefty. It features lyrics from the Walk On song on both sides of it. And let's just open it and see what's inside, shall we? Yeah, why not? Okay, so in my copy, it contains, first things first, a book by Anton Corbijn called Walk On, a poster, and an LP-sized CD package. Now, putting this LP-sized package up next to the original album is ever so slightly bigger, not much bigger. You would be convincingly fooled if you thought it was the same thing, but it's the same front and back cover imagery that you will see on the album. So you open the album itself. There's the first CD. There are CDs 2 to 5, and there's a booklet in there. And as you can see, effectively replicates this. Now this is the booklet that comes with the CD. It's very similar to the booklet that comes with the original LP. I haven't got the reissue version of the LP. As I understand it, the only difference between the year 2000 edition of the album here and the 2018 and onwards editions of the albums in any substantial way is that the dedication in the song Walk On has been changed. So whilst I quickly kind of go through here, see if I can find the original LP booklet that we've got. So the dedication on Walk On the 2000 era CD is to the activist Aung San Suu Kyi. The dedication has been changed in the 2020 edition to be the Rohingya people whose human rights have been so persistently and brutally denied. If you want a very quick guide as to how to tell which edition of it that you've got, that's probably the first and immediate place to look at. The booklets are very similar between both the LP and the 2020 Super Mega Deluxe edition, up until this page here, where we start to detail what's on the album itself and what's on the extra CDs. But we'll get to that. We'll get to the actual content. I mean, after all, this is just a music delivery system in a very nice but expensive box. So, CD box goes in there. CDs that I've dropped on the floor go on the floor. Thank you very much, floor, for looking after those. And then let's go and have a look at what else we've got in there. So we've got a poster. That's a photograph taken on the beach at Easy in France. Double-sided poster with the graphic art from All That You Can't Leave Behind, and the poster of the band at the beach. And we've also got I think it's a 32-page book called Walk On, a prologue by a travel log by Anton Corbijn. You can recognise Anton Corbijn's style instantly whenever you see it. Normally black and white, very saturated, and instantly recognisable. As I understand it, one of the original planned titles for the album might have been Grand Canal Docks, unless someone pointed out that you could change it around a bit, so it said Grand Anal Cocks or something similar. I can't say the idea hadn't occurred to me. I do believe that the C has been stolen off there from time to time and then reinstated in its proper and rightful place. There is a couple of... Every time I go to Dublin, I pretty much visit that place, and I have a photograph of me with it, which never quite looks as cool as when Anton Corbijn is behind the camera. So let's look through the book. You can see April 2000, pictures of the band there. That was one of the proposed album photographs, which was later used, I think, in the promotional period for the best of 90 to 2000. The band at Dublin Airport, the band at Paris. This is a quick photo shoot while they were waiting to change planes. Oh, the lives people live. And then some photographs at Nice Airport. Easy there, which is where the band have houses. Saint-Tropez. I love this photo. I think this photo should have been the album cover, actually. This one here, I think it's far more iconic and interesting, and also it takes attention away from the fact that it's 4 millionaires. It makes them almost, bit part actors in their own album cover. I've never thought that having pictures of a band on the cover of a record is particularly interesting. These are quick Polaroid type photographs that were taken at Easy train station. I have been there and I do not remember that at all. But yeah, 32 photographs of U2 in the year 2000, but all very clearly, very directly focused upon the period before the album came out. So let's go and have a look at what's on the CD. So the first CD is the remastered version of the album, and I think it's in its original 11-track configuration, or it might be in its 12-track version. There was a bonus track called The Ground Beneath Her Feet, which was one of the best songs the band had done for a very long period of time. Had lyrics by Salman Rushdie, which was taken from a book that Salman had written, and the lyrics being the lyrics to a song which one of the characters in the book sang. I can't recall which one, so you'll have to forgive me for that. My memory only controls so much information, and sometimes I feel like I'm not actually a human being, but I'm some kind of walking meat robot made full of anecdotes about pop groups. These videos are doing nothing to dispel that scurrilous truth. Okay, so CD 2 of the set features what's called B-sides, outtakes and alternatives. So let's have a look and see what's on there. Now on CD 2 there is nothing which is previously unreleased at this point. If you've been buying a lot of U2 material over the years, if you've been buying singles, and if you've been buying CD singles and fan club albums and iTunes box sets, there is nothing that's alternate on this second CD. So, for example, there's the B-sides to Beautiful Day. Here is the original CD single, A Beautiful Day. Those B-sides are called Summer Rain and Always. There is also the B-side Big Girls Are Best, which it was on the B-side of some editions of Stuck in a Moment You Can't Get Out of. There is Don't Take Your Guns to Town. That was the B-side on Elevation. There's an acoustic version of Stuck in a Moment. And there's also a number of other songs that were first released in 2004. So if you paid what feels like about $200, $300 to get those exclusive songs that were only released on the iTunes exclusive box set in 2004, there was Levitate, there was Flower Child, and there was Love You Like Mad, for example, which were songs that were recorded during the All That You Can't Leave Behind sessions but were not used as B-sides. If you paid £300 for that box set, well, sucker, they're on this now. But it really does feel a bit exploitative to have released those and then to have not then made them more available until now. There's also CDs 3 and 4 of Elevation live from Boston, and CD 5 is the All That You Can't Leave Behind remixes. So I'm going to quickly go through, I think, maybe what's on those bit by bit. There's no tracks from the Beautiful Day CD single, which was recorded live at Mexico. That's the Australian edition. It features an extra song, probably because the import costs of importing CDs from abroad into Australia made it cheaper, so they put an extra track on there. They put Last Night on Earth on the CD single of Beautiful Day. Here's the UK edition of All That You Can't Leave Behind in a numbered slipcase. Features The Ground Beneath Her Feet as the 12th track on there, and there's some interesting stuff on there, I think. But as I said, until it gets to The Ground Beneath Her Feet, the album kind of tapers down. Okay, so CDs 3 and 4 are Elevation live in Boston. Elevation live in Boston was already released as a DVD in late 2001. 2 DVD set, a reproduction version of a cut down version of the tour program. Features a full length live show, but not a full live show on there, and a second DVD that features a number of additional tracks. So it's got a radio stroke in the studio session version of Beautiful Day, and it's got an alternate video for Stuck in the Moment that you can't get out of, and it's got a number of other bits and bobs. Now, Elevation live in Boston. This DVD will tell you it was filmed on the 6th of June 2001, and the CD edition of it, let's just check the credits on here, tell you that it was recorded on the 6th of June 2001, but it wasn't all recorded on the 6th of June 2001. And even if it was, there was at least 3 songs that aren't on this DVD or on this live set, which, if you're going to charge someone £85 for the box set, it's a bit cheeky. So people get ready, and Mysterious Ways and One are not on either Elevation here, the DVD, or on the album. And that's given that the first CD is 9 songs, the second CD on the live set is 10 songs. There is a lot of space not used on those CDs. And they recorded the night before. So if I remember correctly, one of the songs that's on Elevation at Boston wasn't played on the night of the 6th. It was played on the 5th. I think that might have been Stay, actually. No, yeah, it might have been Stay. And so what you've got is actually, it's an amalgam of 2 shows, even though it tells you it's only from 1 show. And they played 4 shows in total at Boston. And they record and film everything. So to call this Elevation live in Boston, knowing that they're missing a number of songs that were performed in Boston, that were recorded, that were filmed, and aren't included on this, is cheeky, to say the least, especially at £85 price tag. For example, 11 o'clock TikTok was performed at Boston on one of the nights that wasn't used for the DVD. It should be on here. It really should, especially if the tapes were rolling, and I can't see why there wouldn't have been. And that's the only Elevation live material that there is. So, for example, this CD single here, the U2 exclusive that was given away free with the Sunday Times, features I Remember You, New York, and I Will Follow, recorded at the Irving Plaza in New York on the 5th of December 2000. They're not on that box set. So you might think, oh, that box set. No, it hasn't got everything. It hasn't got anywhere near everything on it. There's a bootleg here of the Irving Plaza show, which is 18 songs. It's about 80 minutes long. It features 11 o'clock TikTok in it, and the only time that the band performed Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who, and it's not on there. So if you're going to put out an 85 quid box set, put more stuff like this in here. I know you guys are under no obligation to put an exhaustive box set together, and they might very well be holding the release of this back for some time in future. But you know what? U2 fans are getting older, and there's going to come a time when no one's going to be interested in buying a CD of U2 at the Irving Plaza in the year 2000 by the time they might eventually deign to release it in 2050. There's this here, which is the CD of Walk On, that was the second single released in, I think, Canada. Which is back with Big Girls Are Best, a remix of Beautiful Day. Both of those B-side tracks are on the box set. But there was also this, which is the Stuck in a Moment You Can't Get Out Of CD single, which features Beautiful Day live from Farm Club and New York live from Farm Club. Again, nothing from Farm Club is live on the box set, so the only place you can get those songs is on this CD single. And I think the band performed something like 8 songs at that show, and they thought it was good enough to release 2 of them. It's really annoying that the box set is woefully incomplete. It doesn't have the Irving Plaza show on. It doesn't have the Farm Club show on. There were some songs that were recorded for Man Ray in France, which were on one of the CD singles of Stuck in a Moment, but only in France. Those aren't on there. So you're missing a number of live shows which were recorded and released in part, but aren't included on the box set. You know, there's other omissions, which I'm going to be really blunt about, and say it's just not good enough to charge £85 for a box set and not have all the fucking songs on there. It just isn't. There's I mean, where do we even start? So here's the Slane Castle show from 2001. Again, released on DVD. It's an edited version of the show. It's missing out Mysterious Ways, but Mysterious Ways is in the bonus tracks. Now, this was released as a fan club CD later on. I can understand why the fan club CD isn't released on the box set, but again, it's not really good enough to put out a box set and to still be barely complete. Even though the 5th CD has, I think, 4 remixes of Elevation on, it's still missing several of the remixes of Elevation. And Elevation was released as a 12-inch backed with remixes of Beautiful Day. So there's like the Van Dyck Club mix, the Influx mix, the Escalation mix, and the Quincy and Sonance mix. Now, I'm pretty sure at least one of those mixes isn't on that box set. There's also a lot of different versions. There's 5 different CD or DVD singles of Elevation. This has the Tomb Raider mix by Chris Vrenna, which isn't on the box set, even though that's the hit version that everybody knows. There's this, which has the video. That's not on the box set. There's this, which has the Quincy and Sonance mix. There's this, which has Don't Take Your Guns to Town on. So that actually the only track that's on this CD that isn't on the box set is the A-side hit single mix. And then there's also this numbered limited edition, although limited to what looks like 99,999 CD singles. Features I Remember You, New York, and I Will Follow, which were already on the Sunday Times release. So again, missing 2 live shows, at least possibly 3. I'm going to skip over the bootlegs. So that's Megalania live in Manchester. That's live in Stockholm. And point out that some of the B-sides that are on CD too, not only were they released in 2004 on the exclusive iTunes box set, they were also on this release here, which is called medium, rare, and remastered, which was a fan club release, I think in 2009. And that featured, some extra songs which you wouldn't normally, which hadn't been released in a physical form beforehand. So this has Levitate, Love You Like Mad, Flower Child. None of those had been released physically before. They were a fan club only release. Now they're just common or garden B-side box set filler. There's only 9 songs on the studio mixes and alternate part of the set, which is incredibly incomplete. There's a number of radio sessions, so they recorded 3 songs for Ray Uno from their Dublin HQ, which are alternate studio recordings in the band studio of I think Beautiful Day, Elevation, and Stuck in a Moment. Those aren't on there. When Walk On was released as a single, by the way, it was re-recorded. Now you've got the B-side of Stuck in a Moment, which is the acoustic version that's on this CD single, but you haven't got the A-side. And there's a DVD single of Walk On. There's another single of Walk On here, which has Where the Streets Have No Name from Boston. So that's, I think, the 3rd different release of the Boston version of Where the Streets Have No Name. When, by the way, the version of Where the Streets Have No Name on the DVD is edited, because Where the Streets Have No Name, as I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, was simulcast to a TV show during a halftime break, and Bono kicked a football into the crowd. Now you can see that in the extras, but it was extracted out from the finished and released version. So 3 versions of Where the Streets Have No Name have come out, and none of them feature Bono kicking a football into the crowd. You've got this single, which is a cover version of What's Going On. Oh God, that's got Fred Durst's Reality Check mix on. Now I'm just going to point out, this is the only Limp Bizkit related thing I own, and the only reason I own it is because there's track 3, the London version, is produced by Brian Eno, and it's a duet between Bono and Chris Martin, and the band later played What's Going On as a single. There are not enough words in the human lexicon to describe how much I hate Limp Bizkit and their ham-brained approach to the world. And I think it's probably best I end there. This is another CD EP, which was only sold, I think, through Target in the US. It features what's called a single version of Walk On, which is a separate recording of the song that follows the live arrangement of the song that the band were using in the year 2001 on the Elevation tour. And that single recording is not on the box set, which I can't understand why. The Quincy and Soundhouse mix here of Beautiful Day, I think, is on there. Let's just quickly check. Okay, so where is it now? Oh, this is exciting. We're going to watch Mark look through a book. It'd be like one of those things where somebody, like when you watch a Hollywood movie and there's a guy that's tapping on the screen and then he narrates the things that he's tapping because you can't understand what he's doing because that's a Hollywood movie, or at least it was in 2005. The Quincy and Soundhouse mix is on there. There's also, and this is an unofficial picture disc of All That You Can't Leave Behind, that actually has a faulty track listing, because this indicates that The Ground Beneath Her Feet is on that, but The Ground Beneath Her Feet is not on this bootleg Mexican picture disc version of the album. Okay, so what's missing? Well, this is missing. The band webcast, the first post 9/11 show of the 3rd leg of the American tour, with a multi-angle viewing option. So there's a full-length, professionally shot, mixed and broadcast U2 show from the Elevation tour that they chose not to release. And this has a really interesting set list. It's the only show on the tour that they don't open the show with Elevation. They open it with Beautiful Day. It's got What's Going On there, which is, again, not released officially by the band. And it's got a small snippet of Peace on Earth on it. And that isn't on the set. So you've got 5 audio CDs, but you're missing several studio recordings from the period that have been either released or broadcast, such as the Ray Uno session, such as the single recording of Walk On, such as the Bono stroke Chris Martin stroke Brian Eno version of What's Going On that was later performed by the band. That isn't on there. There's a recording of Peace on Earth and Walk On, which was for a 9/11 charity. I think it was called Time for Heroes. That wasn't released on the set. You've got the Live at Boston set, but it's audio only, and it's missing several songs that were recorded on the show. And not only is the Boston set audio only on here, even though the show has been remastered in high def, and you could have streamed it from the band's website, so it could have been on a Blu-ray that's included in the box set, which would have made it a little bit more tempting, by the way, guys. The audio of the Boston show is edited during Bullet the Blue Sky. Bono says a very naughty word indeed, in the context of the song being repurposed as a kind of like a rant around gun control and police brutality in America. But one word has been taken out, and that it is screamingly obvious when you hear it. There is no way that someone would cut the sentence short halfway through, and then also ruin the rhyme with the word trigger, which comes after it. It's sloppy editing, and it's an element of revisionism around it. Put it out there as it was performed on the night. Maybe put an explanatory bit of text in that going, I wouldn't use that word now, but it's not good enough. An £85 box set for one single album should have the whole kit and caboodle in there. It should have had 3 Blu-ray discs with Slane Castle, South Bend, Boston on there, plus extras like promo videos, documentaries that were made at the time, television appearances. There's a lot of stuff out there that the band chose not to put in on the set, and to then put one show, Boston, and not to include Irving Plaza or the Farm Club show or the French show, even though they're all released in part as B-sides, is sloppy and careless. It feels to me that someone sat around in their office and went, guys, we need to release a box set. What have we got? Well, All That You Can't Leave Behind hits 20 next year. Let's put that out. Well, what have we got that we don't have to pay to license? Well, we've got the Boston show, and we've got some B-sides, and we've got some remixes. Oh, yeah, all right. Fine. Yep, sure. That'll do. Is that 5 discs? Yeah, they'll pay £85 for that. What are we going to put on? What else are we going to put in to make it feel like it's 80? Well, we'll put a book in by Anton Corbijn. He's not used all of the photos in the book U2 and I by Anton Corbijn. I'm sure there's some extra ones we can use. Yeah, let's do that. What about some of the, can't we put some of the alternate artwork on there in the book to make it a bit... No. We're not putting alternate artwork into the box set to make it look a bit more interesting, to talk about the concept of the tour. No, we're absolutely not doing that. For £85, you should be bloody lucky you get 5 CDs, a book of expensive photographs, and a poster. £85 is quite cheap for all of that. How can we make it more expensive? Well, mate, let me put it this way. You want to charge £200 for this box set? Yeah, we can do that. Let's put the album on two LPs, and let's put some B-sides on 1 LP. That's 3. We'll put Boston on another 3 LPs. That'll make it 6 LPs. Oh, we want to charge people £200 for the box set, guys. How are we going to make people pay £200 for the box set? We need to add some extra discs. Tell you what, fuck it. Let's put the remixes on 12-inch singles, although they were never 12-inch singles. And then let's call it an 11-piece vinyl set. And for people that don't really, we'll call it 11 LPs, even though they're not LPs, because an LP is longer than 3 songs and longer than 50. No, don't think about it. Just put 11 slabs of vinyl in there. We can charge £200. Ka-ching! Who cares about whether it's value for money? It's a box set. It's in the shops. You can buy it. It is not worth the money, and it will turn up cheaper soon. And if it doesn't, you've saved yourself £200 buying a box set you didn't need. The only unreleased audio that's on here are, and I'll be blunt about it, 4 crappy remixes, and they are not great. There's a remix of New York, which is the Superman Kicks Atavian mix, and the Carnegie's Dell mix. They have a slightly different vocal track. One of the remixes is by Black Dog, Both of the remixes are by Black Dog, and they feature slightly different vocals from the ones that were originally released. But the Jimmy Corti remixes, the nice and nasty mixes that were on the CD single of Electrical Storm, they aren't on there. No, these are two new remixes. Do you think two new remixes of New York is worth 200 quid? Well, I don't care. We're going to make it. And let's see what else there's. Oh, there's a Nightmares on Wax remix of In a Little While. It's on a compilation CD. Let's take that out of the compilation CD and we'll put it on here. Is it any good? Well, I've heard it 3 times. I don't remember anything about it. What I do remember is that there is also there's a remix of When I Look at the World, the Picante mix, which is remixed by Chris Heaney, and that's not particularly good either. But the worst thing that's on here, and I cannot be ambiguous about this, is the Wycliffe John, or Gene, or however he wants to pronounce his name, remix of Walk On. Now, 20 seconds in, he's already going, do the slam dance, do the slam dance, do the slam dance, over the top of a U2 song. It's dumb, and it's a bad remix, primarily because it junks everything of the song that made it good, and the only thing it keeps really are the vocals and maybe a little bit of the guitar. I will never listen to that remix again. It is garbage, and it should never have been on a 200 quid box set. At the very least, don't make it one of the 4 unreleased tracks on the set. Make it one of the 24 unreleased tracks on the set, so at least it doesn't sting so much. Now, you can't even buy those exclusive remixes yet separately because they're going to be released as a thing called the Trilogy EP. I don't know if it's the Trilogy of Expensive Remixes EP, but it's not going to be released in a physical form. So if you only want to buy the new stuff, you either pay for a download or you buy a £200 vinyl box set or an £85 CD box set. Now, I'm going to be really open about this. This did not cost me £85. I had an Amazon voucher for what is a substantial sum of money that made it considerably less expensive for me. If I had spent £85 of my entertainment budget on this, I would be very annoyed that I would have been ripped off with what is frankly an exploitative, underweight, thin piece of Grawl. It's a triumph of packaging. It's a lovely package. Look at that. It's a lovely bit of cardboard. I ain't paying 85 quid for cardboard. I'm not paying £85 for a box. I'm not paying £85 for all the songs which I've got before. You know, it's not good enough for £85. It's like somebody stuffed £40 worth of content into an £85 box. And frankly, U2 are loaded. They've got plenty of money. The guys don't need to charge that much. And if they're going to charge that much, at least take a little bit of care and a couple of hours thought and think, let's put South Bend on there on Blu-ray. Let's put Slane on there on Blu-ray. Let's put Boston on there on Blu-ray. Let's put the Farm Club show there on CD. Let's put the Irving Plaza show on CD on there. And by the way, there's film of the Irving Plaza show as well. So instead of paying £85 for 5 CDs, you could have been paying £85 or £200 for 3 Blu-rays with shows that have not been on Blu-ray before. You could have been paying that much money to have, you know, maybe 2 or 3 live shows that haven't been on CD before, and you could have included Boston on there, and you could have actually included a decent selection of the B-sides, included the radio sessions, and including the new single recording of Walk On that is still currently in a physical form, only available on the 7 EP. So that's my review of U2's All That You Can't Leave Behind 20th Anniversary Milk the Fanbase edition. And they really need to try better, because the words money often should include value for. Now, this is a lot of money. There's not very much in terms of value that's on here. And I'm really disappointed with the tokenistic will this do approach to bonus tracks that are on here. The band could have done so much better, and they could have pleased the fan base a heck of a lot more than putting this out. Now, I'm not saying don't buy it. If you like U2, it's a lovely box set. If you've got loads of money, it's a lovely box set as well. If you haven't got loads of money, don't buy it. And if you don't have loads of money, definitely don't buy the 6 LPs and 5 12 inches for £200 rip-off edition of it, because that is not value for money either. And I think I'm going to have to stop here before my head explodes, and then I'm going to go and watch some television. Now, at some point, I'm going to be talking through the albums in more detail, all of the U2 albums sequentially, right from Boy all the way through to the most recent studio album, Songs of Experience. And those are probably going to be a little less annoyed, I think is probably the best way of putting it. If you've made it to the end of this video, congratulations, you've earned yourself a cup of tea and a biscuit. And if you see me at a gig, assuming there are gigs in the future, you want a hug, that's absolutely fine. Just tell me that you've made it through the way to the end of this and claim a hug off me. In fact, you don't even need to tell me. Just buy me a drink and I'll do it. Anyway, I'm going to stop because I've now got to do some housework. And thank you very much. And hopefully I haven't put you off too much from coming back. I promise that laughter, funny material, and happy mark will be edited in post-production, possibly in other episodes. So thank you very much and goodbye.